I've sold the apartment, and I'm starting over with Jerome. My wife delivered that line like she'd already won. I responded with 2 words that shook her. Okay, sure. She didn't realize I held all the cards. By the time she understood what I knew, it was already too late to stop it. My name is Lloyd Franklin. I'm 52 years old, and for the past 19 years, I've worked as a supply chain optimization specialist. It's not glamorous work, but it's steady, well-paid, and it keeps me traveling about twice a month. I consult for manufacturing companies across the Southeast, helping them streamline their logistics. Good money, respectable reputation, the kind of career that bought us a nice condo in Charlotte and put 2 kids through college. Claire and I married 24 years ago. She was 26 then, sharp as a tack, working in human resources. We had Hannah 3 years into the marriage. She's 27 now, a pediatrician up in Boston. Then came Wesley 2 years after that, 25, working as a data analyst in Austin. Both kids made us proud. Both kids, I thought, saw us as solid. Stable. I was wrong about a lot of things. The call came on a Tuesday afternoon in Atlanta. I was sitting in a conference room with executives from a textile manufacturer, reviewing shipping routes on a projection screen. My phone buzzed against the table. Claire's name lit up the display. I excused myself and stepped into the hallway. The building was one of those modern corporate places, glass walls, potted plants, everything designed to look calm and efficient. Hey, I said, everything okay? There was a pause. Not the natural kind, the calculated kind. Lloyd, I'm divorcing you, Claire said. Her voice was steady, almost businesslike. I've already sold the apartment. I'm starting over with someone else. I felt my hand tighten around the phone, but my voice stayed level. Okay. Another pause. She'd expected something different. Anger, maybe, or panic. His name is Jerome, she continued. I've been seeing him for a while. This isn't impulsive. I've thought it through. Okay, I said again. That's all you have to say. Her tone shifted slightly, annoyance creeping in. What would you like me to say, Claire? I don't know. Something. Anything. I'll be home tomorrow night, I said. We'll talk then. There's nothing to talk about. The sale closes in 2 weeks. You'll need to find somewhere else to stay. I leaned against the wall, watching a maintenance worker push a cart down the hallway. We'll see. Don't make this harder than it needs to be, she said. I'm not making it anything. You are. She hung up without another word. I stood there for maybe 30 seconds, phone still in my hand, staring at nothing. Then I went back into the conference room, apologized for the interruption, and finished the presentation. Nobody noticed anything different about me. That's the thing about control. It looks like calm until you need it to be something else. I caught a flight home the next evening. The whole way back, I kept replaying the conversation. Not the words themselves, but the tone, the confidence, the assumption that I just fold, pack a bag, disappear quietly. When I unlocked the door to our condo, Claire was sitting on the couch. She looked up, and for just a second, I saw it. That smug little smile, the one that said she'd already won. But when she saw my face, when she saw I wasn't rattled or broken or begging, that smile flickered. Then it died completely. We need to talk, I said, setting my bag down by the door. She stood up, crossing her arms. I told you, there's nothing to discuss. It's done. You sold our apartment, I said calmly. That's interesting. Tell me, Claire, whose name is on the deed? Her expression shifted. Just a little. Just enough. What are you talking about? The refinance, I said. 8 months ago. You remember that, don't you? She didn't answer. You were in a hurry that day, I continued. Didn't want to read through all the paperwork. You told me to handle it. So what? She said, but her voice had lost some of its edge. So I handled it, I said. And when the title transferred, it transferred to me. Just me. The color drained from her face. You can't sell something you don't own, Claire. She opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time since I'd known her, Claire Franklin had nothing to say. I walked past her toward the bedroom. Like I said, we need to talk. That night, I didn't sleep much. Not because I was devastated, though I won't pretend it didn't hurt, but because my mind was working through the logistics. Claire had been planning this. The confidence in her voice, the timeline she'd already set, the fact that she'd try to sell our home without checking the paperwork first. This wasn't impulsive. This was calculated. The next morning, I made coffee and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop. Claire was still in the bedroom, Probably try to figure out our next move. I pulled up our bank statements, something I hadn't done in months, maybe years. Claire had always handled the finances. She was organized, detail-oriented, and I trusted her completely. First mistake. I started with our joint checking account. Normal transactions, groceries, utilities, the usual expenses. Then I moved to our savings. The balance looked right at first glance, but when I scrolled back through the last 3 years, I noticed something odd. Regular transfers. Small at first, 500 here, 1,000 there. Then larger amounts. 3,000, 5,000, always on the 15th of the month. I opened a separate tab and searched our bank's website for other accounts under our names. That's when I found it. An account I'd never seen before. Opened 4 years ago. In Claire's name only. Current balance, $183,000. I sat back, staring at the screen. $183,000. Money that had been quietly siphoned from our joint accounts over years. Money I'd earned, that we were supposed to be saving together, now sitting in an account I didn't even know existed. I heard the bedroom door open. Claire walked into the kitchen, wearing her robe, her expression carefully neutral. "We need to talk about what happens next," she said, pouring herself coffee. "We do," I agreed. "But first, I have a question." She turned, leaning against the counter. "What?" I rotated my laptop so she could see the screen. "What's this?" Her eyes flicked to the monitor. For just a second, I saw panic. Then she recovered, her face hardening. "That's my emergency fund," she said. "Your emergency fund," I repeated slowly. "Built with money from our joint accounts. Money I managed," Claire shot back. "Money I saved because you never bothered to pay attention. Money we earned together," I said. "Money that was supposed to be ours." "It is mine," she said. "I opened that account. I made those transfers. That's how banking works, Lloyd." I closed the laptop. "That's not how marriage works." She set her coffee mug down hard. "Don't lecture me about marriage. You were never here. Always traveling, always working. I built a life while you were busy optimizing supply chains. I was providing for our family. You were absent," she snapped. "So yes, I made plans. I protected myself. By stealing from us. By being smart," she said. "Something you clearly weren't." I stood up, keeping my voice calm. "I'm calling a lawyer today. You should probably do the same." "I already have one," Claire said. "He's very good." "I'm sure he is," I said. "Let's see how good he is when we show him that deed. And this account." Claire's jaw tightened. "You're going to drag this out, aren't you?" "I'm going to make sure it's fair," I said. "There's a difference." She grabbed her phone off the counter and walked out of the kitchen. I heard the bedroom door slam. I sat back down and pulled up my contacts. Angela Torres had handled legal work for my company before. Sharp, thorough, no nonsense. I dialed her number. She answered on the third ring. "Lloyd Franklin. It's been a while." "Angela," I said, "I need your help. My wife just tried to divorce me and sell our home without my knowledge. And I just found out she's been hiding $183,000. There was a pause. Then Angela said, "Tell me everything." Angela Torres met me at her office that afternoon. She was in her late 40s, sharp-eyed, with the kind of presence that made you sit up straighter. We'd worked together on a few contract disputes for my company, and I knew she didn't waste time on pleasantries. "Show me everything," she said, settling behind her desk. I walked her through it. The deed with my name only. The secret account with $183,000. The attempted sale. Angela took notes, nodding occasionally, her expression unreadable. "You have a strong position," she said finally. "But strong doesn't mean simple. In North Carolina, we're an equitable distribution state. Even with your name on the deed, she could argue for a share based on contributions during the marriage." "What about the hidden account?" "That helps you," Angela said. "Shows intent to deceive. But we'll need to prove she was planning this divorce while accumulating that money. Do you have access to her communications?" "Not yet," I said. "Then we start with what we have." She leaned back. "I'll draft a response to block any sale attempt and file a motion for financial discovery. We'll also need to notify the buyer that the transaction was unauthorized." "How long will this take?" "Months," Angela said bluntly. "Maybe longer if she fights." "Are you prepared for that?" "I am," I said. "But there's something else. We have 2 kids, Hannah and Wesley. They need to know what's happening." Angela's expression softened slightly. "How old?" 27 and 25. Both out of state. Call them today, she advised. Before your wife does. In cases like this, whoever controls the narrative first usually controls the family dynamic. I drove home with that advice weighing on me. I'd always try to keep the kids out of our problems. But this wasn't a problem anymore. This was a war Claire had started, and our children deserved to hear the truth from me first. That evening, I called Hannah. She answered on the second ring, her voice bright. Dad, how are you? I need to talk to you about something important, I said. Your mother and I are getting divorced. Silence. Then what? When did this happen? She told me 2 days ago, while I was in Atlanta. She said she's been seeing someone named Jerome and that she'd already sold our condo. She sold your home. Hannah's voice shifted, sharpening. Without telling you. She tried to. But the deed's in my name only. She didn't realize that. Dad, that's insane. Why would she? Hannah stopped. Wait, how long has this been going on? I don't know yet. But I found out she's been hiding money. A lot of it. Over $180,000 in a secret account. Oh my God. Hannah breathed. Does Wesley know? I'm calling him next. But Hannah, I need you to understand something. Your mother is going to have her version of this story. She's going to say I was never around, that I neglected her. Some of that might even be true. But what she did, the lying, the hiding money, trying to sell our home without my knowledge, that's not on me. I believe you, Dad, Hannah said quietly. I've noticed changes in Mom over the past few years. She's been different, distant. I thought it was just stress. It was planning, I said. After I hung up with Hannah, I called Wesley. The conversation was harder. Wesley had always been closer to his mother, always defended her when Hannah and I disagreed with her decisions. Dad, I don't understand, Wesley said after I explained. Mom wouldn't just do this out of nowhere. What did you do? That stung. What did I do? You're always traveling, Wesley said. Always working. Maybe she got tired of being alone. Being alone doesn't justify lying, I said. Or stealing. Stealing? Come on, Dad. That's dramatic. She hid $183,000. Wesley. Money from our joint accounts. Money I earned. Money we were supposed to share. Maybe she was protecting herself, Wesley said. You're making her sound like a criminal. I'm telling you what happened, I said. Believe what you want. But when this goes to court, the facts won't care about feelings. Court. Wesley's voice rose. You're really going to drag her through court? Can't you just let her go? She tried to sell our home without my permission, I said. Would you let that go? Wesley was quiet for a long moment. I need to talk to Mom. Go ahead, I said. But remember, Wesley, there are two sides to every story. Make sure you hear both before you pick one. He hung up without saying goodbye. I sat in the quiet of the living room, staring at my phone. My family was fracturing, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. The next morning, I had a meeting scheduled with Autotech Industries, a manufacturing client based in Raleigh. It was a major contract, potentially $12 million over 3 years if they signed. I've been cultivating this relationship for 8 months, presenting proposals, refining logistics models, building trust with their executive team. I couldn't afford to lose focus now. I drove to their headquarters, reviewing my notes at stoplights. The meeting was set for 10. I arrived 15 minutes early, checked my tie in the rearview mirror, and walked into the building with my briefcase and my best professional smile. The receptionist greeted me warmly. Mr. Franklin, they're waiting for you in conference room B. I followed her directions down a hallway lined with photos of automotive innovations. When I entered the conference room, 4 executives were already seated. James Pritchard, the CEO, stood and shook my hand. Lloyd, good to see you, he said, but his smile seemed strained. James, thank you for having me. We sat. I opened my laptop and began my presentation, walking them through the updated supply chain proposal. Reduced shipping times, optimized warehouse locations, projected savings of 18% annually. Everything I said was solid. Everything I presented was backed by data. But the room felt wrong. James interrupted halfway through. Lloyd, before we go further, I need to address something. We received an email yesterday. Anonymous. It raised some concerns about your firm's financial practices. I felt my jaw tighten. What kind of concerns? Allegations of misreporting expenses, inflating invoices. The email claimed you've been under investigation. James folded his hands. Now, I don't know if any of that's true, but Autotech has strict compliance standards. We can't move forward with a contract if there's even a hint of impropriety. There's no investigation, I said evenly. And there's no misreporting. This is a fabrication. Can you prove that? I can provide our audit records, I said. Our financials are clean. We're bonded and insured. Whoever sent that email is trying to sabotage this deal. James exchanged glances with the other executives. We'd like to believe you, Lloyd. But until we can verify there's no truth to these allegations, we're putting the contract on hold. On hold, I repeated. Temporarily, James said. Give us 2 weeks. Clear this up, and we'll move forward. I closed my laptop slowly. I understand. I'll have documentation to you by the end of the week. I shook hands with each of them, maintaining eye contact, keeping my expression calm. But inside, I was furious. I knew exactly who'd sent that email. Back in my car, I called Angela. Claire's sabotaging my business. Tell me what happened. I explained the meeting, the anonymous email, the allegations. Angela listened without interrupting. This is actionable, she said when I finished. If we can prove she sent it, we can file for injunctive relief and add it to the divorce proceedings. But we need evidence. I'll get it, I said. That afternoon, I contacted an IT consultant I'd worked with before. His name was Derek, and he specialized in digital forensics. I need you to trace an email, I said. Anonymous sender, but it went to a client of mine. I think my wife sent it. Do you have access to her devices? Derek asked. Not yet, but I will. Then let's talk when you do. I drove home with a plan forming. Claire had escalated this. She'd taken our personal conflict and aimed it at my livelihood. That crossed a line. When I walked into the condo, Claire was in the kitchen, making tea. She looked up, her expression neutral. We need to set some boundaries, I said. I agree, Claire replied. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Did you send an anonymous email to Autotech Industries? I asked directly. Her face didn't change, but her hand paused on the kettle. I don't know what you're talking about. Someone sent them allegations about financial misconduct. It nearly cost me a $12 million contract. Maybe they're doing due diligence, Claire said. That's not my problem. If I find out you did this, I said quietly, I will make sure it's part of the legal record. Sabotaging my business isn't just unethical, Claire. It's illegal. She set the kettle down. Are you threatening me? I'm warning you, I said. Keep this between us. Leave my work out of it. Or what? Or I'll stop being reasonable, I said. Claire smiled, cold and sharp. You were never reasonable, Lloyd. You were just passive. I walked out of the kitchen before I said something I'd regret. She declared war, and I was done pretending it was anything else. 3 days after the Autotech meeting, I received a letter from the IRS. Official letterhead, return receipt requested, the kind of envelope that makes your stomach drop before you even open it. I sat at the kitchen table and read it twice. Notice of audit. My personal and business tax returns for the past 3 years. Estimated timeline, 60 to 90 days. Contact information for the assigned agent enclosed. I called Angela immediately. I just got audited. When did the notice arrive? Today. They're reviewing 3 years of returns. Personal and business. Angela was quiet for a moment. That's not Randall Lloyd. Someone filed a tip. The IRS doesn't just audit without cause. Claire, I said. Probably. Can they find anything? No, I said. My returns are clean. I use a CPA. Everything's documented. But it's going to cost me time and money I don't have right now. Document everything, Angela said. Every expense related to this audit. If we can prove she filed a false report, we can pursue damages. That afternoon, I called my CPA, Robert Huang. He'd been handling my taxes for 15 years and knew my finances better than I did. Lloyd, I just saw the notice, Robert said. I'm already pulling files. Don't worry. Your returns are solid. How long will this take? If we're organized? 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. But we'll need to provide documentation for every deduction, every business expense, every transaction over $5,000. Whatever it takes, I said. I spent the evening in my home office, pulling bank statements, receipts, travel logs. 3 years of paperwork spread across the desk. Claire walked past once, glanced in, said nothing. The next day, I got a call from James Pritchard at Autotech. Lloyd, we need to talk. My chest tightened. What's going on? We received another email. Same anonymous sender. This one claims you're under IRS investigation. I'm being audited, I said carefully. That's not the same as being investigated. Audits happen. They're routine. Are they? James asked. Because the email specifically mentioned fraud, unreported income, false deductions. All false, I said. James, someone is deliberately trying to sabotage this deal. Someone who knows enough about my personal situation to weaponize it. Who would do that? My wife, I said. We're going through a difficult divorce. She's been escalating. James was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry to hear that. But Lloyd, I have to be honest. This is creating problems for us. Our board is getting nervous. They're asking questions about due diligence. Give me 2 weeks, I said. My CPA is already working with the IRS. I'll have documentation showing my returns are clean. 2 weeks, James said. But Lloyd, if anything else comes up. It won't, I said. After I hung up, I sat staring at my phone. Claire wasn't just attacking me. She was systematically dismantling my professional life. That evening, I confronted her. She was in the bedroom, packing clothes into boxes. The IRS audit, I said. You filed a tip. Claire didn't look up. I have no idea what you're talking about. And the second email to Autotech. You sent that too. Prove it, she said, folding a sweater. I will, I said. And when I do, it's going in front of a judge. She finally looked at me. You think you're so smart, Lloyd. You think having your name on that deed makes you untouchable. But you're not. You're vulnerable. And I know exactly where to apply pressure. This isn't about the divorce anymore, I said. This is about destroying me. No, Claire said calmly. This is about making sure I get what I deserve. You want to play hardball? Fine. But don't act surprised when I swing back. You're willing to commit fraud to hurt me? I'm willing to do whatever it takes, she said. You should have just let me go, Lloyd. You should have signed the papers and walked away. But you had to be difficult. You had to fight. You tried to steal from me, I said. What did you expect? Claire smiled. I expected you to roll over like you always do. Turns out I was wrong about you. That's disappointing. She turned back to her packing, dismissing me. I walked out, my hands shaking. Not from fear. From rage, I was working very hard to control. The next morning, I did something I've been avoiding. I went into Claire's home office while she was out. Her laptop was sitting on the desk, closed but not locked away. I opened it. Password protected. I tried our anniversary. Nothing. Hannah's birthday. Nothing. Then I tried something simpler. Wesley's birthday, followed by our wedding year. The screen unlocked. I opened her email. Searched for Autotech. Found the draft folder. There it was. The anonymous email, sent to James Pritchard. Dated 3 days ago. Claims about financial misconduct, inflated invoices, pending investigations. Every word designed to undermine my credibility. I took photos with my phone. Then I searched for IRS. Found correspondence with a private investigator named Todd Brenner. Messages discussing filing a credible tip and creating documentation to support claims. I photographed everything. Then I noticed something else. Email threads between Claire and Jerome going back 40 months. Not 3 years. 40 months. Almost 3.5 years. I opened the earliest message. I can't stop thinking about you. When can we meet again? Jerome's response. Friday. Same hotel. I'll make sure we have the suite. I scrolled through months of messages. Hotel reservations. Dinner plans. Explicit messages I didn't want to read, but forced myself to document. References to that idiot husband, and once the money secured. There was a spreadsheet attached to one email. Labeled exit plan. It detailed the secret account, monthly transfer amounts, projected balance at 18 months, 24 months, 36 months. The final projected total, $185,000. They've been planning this for years. Every detail calculated. Every step mapped out. I photographed everything, then closed the laptop and left the office exactly as I found it. That afternoon, I met Angela at her office and showed her the photos. She scrolled through them slowly, her expression hardening. This is more than I expected. The emails to Autotech, the coordination with a PI for the IRS tip. That's tortious interference and fraud. The affair timeline proves premeditation. And this spreadsheet, it shows intent, I said. It shows conspiracy, Angela corrected. Lloyd, this changes everything. With this evidence, we can go on the offensive. We can pursue damages, seek sanctions against our attorney if he knew about any of this, and potentially even file criminal complaints. I don't want revenge, I said. I want her to stop. Then we use this as leverage, Angela said. We show her we have it. We make it clear that if she continues attacking her business, we go public with everything. Will that work? With someone rational? Yes. With Claire? Angela shrugged. We'll find out. That evening, I got a call from Derek, the IT consultant. I traced the IP address from those emails to Autotech. They originated from your home network. Can you document that? Already done. I'll send you a report. I thanked him and hung up. Then I called Wesley. He'd been distant since our last conversation, and I needed to try one more time. Dad, he answered, his tone guarded. I need you to listen to something, I said. Your mother has been having an affair with Jerome for over 3 years. She's been planning this divorce the entire time. She created a spreadsheet tracking the money she was hiding. And she's been actively trying to destroy my business by sending false reports to my clients and the IRS. Dad, I have proof, Wesley. Emails, bank records, a documented timeline. Your mother isn't the victim here. She's been orchestrating this for years. Wesley was quiet. Why are you telling me this? Because you're my son, I said. And because I need you to understand that whatever she's told you, whatever story she spun, it's not the whole truth. Send me the proof. Wesley said finally. Are you sure? Yeah, he said quietly. I'm sure. I sent him the photos. All of them. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Wesley. His voice was different. Shaken. Dad, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't. I know, I said. She's very convincing. This is insane. The spreadsheet. The emails. All of it. I'm not trying to turn you against your mother, I said. But I won't let her destroy me without showing you the truth. What are you going to do? What I have to, I said. Protect myself. Protect my business. And make sure she doesn't get away with fraud. After we hung up, I sat in the quiet, feeling something shift. My son believed me now. My daughter had believed me from the start. And I had evidence that would end this. Claire had underestimated me. She wouldn't make that mistake again. 2 days after I showed Wesley the evidence, something unexpected happened. Nicole Grant called me. Nicole was a colleague from Southeastern Logistics, a woman I'd worked with on a few projects over the years. She was 48, recently divorced, professional, attractive. We'd always maintained appropriate boundaries, cordial but distant. Lloyd, she said when I answered, I heard about your situation. I'm sorry. News travels fast, I said. Charlotte's not that big a city, Nicole replied. Listen, I know this is probably awkward timing, but would you want to grab coffee? Just to talk. I went through a rough divorce 2 years ago. Sometimes it helps to talk to someone who understands. I hesitated. Nicole, I appreciate the offer, but I'm not really in the space for socializing right now. It's just coffee, she said. No pressure. I promise. Something in her tone felt off. Too casual. Too perfectly timed. But I couldn't put my finger on why. Let me think about it, I said. Of course. Just let me know. After we hung up, I sat staring at my phone. Then I called Angela. I just got a call from a female colleague, I said, asking me to coffee. Says she wants to talk about my divorce. Do you normally socialize with this colleague? Angela asked. No. We're friendly, but not friends. And the timing strikes you as odd. Very, I said. Don't go, Angela said immediately. Or if you do, make sure you're in a public place and document everything. Lloyd, if your wife is as calculated as we think, she might be setting you up. Setting me up how? Affair allegations, Angela said. If she can claim you've been unfaithful, it strengthens her position. Takes focus off her behavior. Even if it's false, the accusation alone creates problems. That evening, Nicole called again. Hey, did you think about coffee? I did, I said, but I'm going to pass. I appreciate the offer, though. Oh, she sounded genuinely disappointed. Are you sure? It's really just friendly support. I'm sure, I said. But thank you. Well, if you change your mind, let me know. After the call, I sat thinking. Then I did something that felt paranoid but necessary. I called Derek, my IT consultant. I need you to check something, I said. A colleague named Nicole Grant contacted me out of nowhere, asking me to meet for coffee. Can you see if there's any connection between her and my wife? What kind of connection? Financial, communications, anything. Give me her full name and phone number, Derek said. 2 days later, Derek called back. Lloyd, you're going to want to hear this. I found a payment from your wife to Nicole Grant. $5,000. Transferred 3 weeks ago through Venmo. The note says consulting services. My chest tightened. Consulting services. There's more, Derek said. Text messages between them. Your wife asked Nicole to get close to you, to document any inappropriate behavior. She specifically mentioned trying to catch you in a compromising position. How did you get text messages? Let's just say Nicole wasn't as careful with her digital security as she should have been, Derek said. I can document everything, but we should probably bring your lawyer in on this. I immediately called Angela and explained what Derek found. That's witness tampering and attempted fraud, Angela said. Lloyd, this is serious. Your wife literally tried to hire someone to entrap you. What do? We document everything Derek found, and we use it. If Claire's attorney knew about this, we can file for sanctions. If he didn't, we can use it to show her character. Should I confront Claire? Not yet, Angela said. Let's keep this in reserve. She doesn't know we know. That gives us an advantage. That night, I lay in bed thinking about how far Claire was willing to go. The hidden money, the affair, the business sabotage, the IRS tip, and now trying to manufacture evidence of infidelity. She wasn't just fighting for a divorce settlement. She was trying to destroy me completely. But she'd made a mistake. She'd underestimated my ability to see through her schemes. And now I had evidence of something that could turn this entire case on its head. 3 days after Derek's discovery about Nicole, I got a call from Wesley. His voice was tight, controlled. Dad, something happened. I need to tell you something. What's wrong? I got fired, Wesley said. From my job in Austin. I sat up straighter. What? What? Remember those posts I made? Defending Mom on social media? I did. Wesley had written a long Facebook post 2 weeks ago, defending Claire, calling me controlling and emotionally absent. It had been shared dozens of times. Someone from my company saw them. Wesley continued. A client, actually. They complained to HR, said they didn't want to work with someone who publicly attacks their family. HR investigated and decided my posts violated the company's social media policy. Wesley, I'm so sorry. It gets worse, he said. The post went viral, Dad. Like really viral. There are Reddit threads about it. Twitter discussions. People are analyzing our family like we're a reality show. And the consensus? I look like a spoiled kid defending his manipulative mother. What are people saying? That I'm naive. That I bought Mom's lies. That I publicly destroyed my own father without knowing the facts. His voice faltered. I try to delete everything, but screenshots are everywhere. My name is attached to this forever. Come home, I said immediately. Stay here while you figure things out. I can't come there, Dad. Mom's there. Then I'll get you a hotel room. Or you can stay with Hannah in Boston. Hannah's not talking to me, Wesley said quietly. She's furious. She says I should have listened to you from the start. Wesley, your sister will forgive you. So will I. You made a mistake. You believe your mother. That's not unforgivable. I ruined my career, Wesley said. For her. And she lied to me about everything. You didn't ruin your career, I said. You had a setback. You're 25 years old. You'll recover. Will I? His voice broke. Everyone knows my name now, Dad. Everyone knows what I did. Then we deal with it. I said. Together. Come home. Let me help you. There was a long silence. Then Wesley said, Okay, I'll fly in tomorrow. That evening, I told Claire that Wesley was coming home. She looked up from her phone, surprised. What? He lost his job. Because of the posts he made defending you. Claire's expression didn't change. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate. I repeated. That's all you have to say. What do you want me to say, Lloyd? I didn't make him post anything. He's an adult. He made his own choices. Choices based on lies you told him. I told him my perspective, Claire said. That's not lying. You told him I was emotionally abusive. That I neglected you. That I forced you into this situation. All while you were planning to leave for 3 years, hiding money, and having an affair. That's your version, Claire said. It's the documented version, I said. The version with bank records, emails, and spreadsheets. Claire stood up. Your son is coming home because he needs support. Don't use this as another opportunity to attack me. I'm not attacking you, I said quietly. I'm stating facts. And the fact is, Wesley's life fell apart because he believed you. How does that make you feel? For just a moment, I saw something flicker across her face. Guilt, maybe, or doubt, but it vanished quickly. I feel bad for Wesley, she said. But this isn't my fault. She walked out of the room. The next day, I picked Wesley up from the airport. He looked exhausted, carrying a single duffel bag. He lost weight. His eyes were hollow. "Hey, Dad," he said quietly. I pulled him into a hug. He didn't resist, just stood there, letting me hold him. "It's going to be okay," I said. "I don't know how," Wesley replied. We drove back to the condo in silence. When we walked in, Claire was sitting in the living room. She stood up when she saw Wesley. "Honey, I'm so sorry about your job." "Don't," Wesley said. "Just don't, Mom." Claire blinked. "What?" "I saw the evidence, Mom. All of it. The affair timeline. The spreadsheet. The emails to Dad's clients. I know what you did." "Wesley, your father is manipulating." "Stop," Wesley said, his voice harder than I'd ever heard it. "I defended you. I lost my job defending you. And you lied to me. About everything. That's not fair, isn't it?" Wesley set his bag down. "You told me Dad was the problem. That he ignored you. That he forced you into this. But you were planning to leave for years. You were stealing money. You were destroying his business. And I believed you because I'm your son and I wanted to trust you." Claire's face went pale. "Wesley, I'm staying here until I figure out my next move," Wesley said. "But don't expect me to take your side anymore. I'm done being your weapon." He walked past her toward the guest room. Claire stood frozen, staring after him. Then she looked at me. For the first time since this started, she looked shaken. "You turned my son against me," she said. "No," I replied. "You did that yourself." The mediation had failed. Claire's attorney, Richard Nolan, had tried to negotiate a settlement, but Angela and I had refused to compromise. Not when we had everything documented. Not when Claire was still actively trying to sabotage my business. So we ended up in court. Superior Court, Mecklenburg County. Judge Patricia Winters presiding. The courtroom was smaller than I'd imagined, wood-paneled and formal. Claire sat at the defendant's table with Richard, wearing a conservative blue dress, her hair pulled back. She looked composed, but I could see tension in her shoulders. Hannah and Wesley sat in the gallery behind me. Both had flown in to support me. That meant something. Judge Winters reviewed the case summary, then looked up. "This appears to be a contested divorce with significant financial disputes. Mr. Nolan, you may begin." Richard stood. "Your Honor, my client seeks an equitable distribution of marital assets. While the deed to the marital home is solely in Mr. Franklin's name, Mrs. Franklin contributed to the household for 24 years. She managed finances, maintained the home, and supported Mr. Franklin's career. She's entitled to compensation for those contributions. Mr. Franklin was also unaware that the deed was solely in his name," Richard continued. "The transfer occurred during a refinance that Mrs. Franklin understood to be routine. There was no intent to deceive." Judge Winters turned to Angela. "Ms. Torres." Angela stood, holding a thick folder. "Your Honor, the evidence tells a different story. Mrs. Franklin opened a secret bank account 4 years ago and systematically transferred $183,000 from joint accounts without Mr. Franklin's knowledge. She planned this divorce for years, as evidenced by a spreadsheet titled Exit Plan that detailed her financial strategy." Angela opened the folder and pulled out documents. "Furthermore, Mrs. Franklin has engaged in tortious interference with Mr. Franklin's business. She sent anonymous emails to his clients making false allegations of financial misconduct. She filed a fraudulent tip with the IRS, triggering an audit that has cost Mr. Franklin thousands of dollars and nearly destroyed a $12 million contract. And finally," Angela continued, "Mrs. Franklin attempted to hire a colleague to entrap Mr. Franklin in a compromising situation. She paid Nicole Grant $5,000 to seduce Mr. Franklin and create evidence of infidelity. We have bank records, text messages, and testimony to support all of these claims." Judge Winters' expression hardened. "Is this true, Mr. Nolan?" Richard looked uncomfortable. "Your Honor, I was not aware of some of these allegations." "That's not what I asked," Judge Winters interrupted. "Are these allegations true?" Richard glanced at Claire. She was pale, staring at the table. "I need to confer with my client," Richard said. Judge Winters nodded. 5-minute recess. When court reconvened, Richard stood. "Your Honor, we'd like to request a continuance to review the evidence Ms. Torres has presented." "Denied," Judge Winters said. "Ms. Torres, do you have the evidence with you?" "I do, Your Honor." "Then let's proceed." For the next 2 hours, Angela presented everything. The bank statements showing the secret account, The emails between Claire and Jerome spanning 40 months. The spreadsheet detailing the exit plan. The anonymous emails to Autotech. The IRS tip coordination with a private investigator. The payment to Nicole Grant and the text messages discussing the entrapment scheme. Claire tried to speak several times, but Richard kept stopping her. He knew it was over. Finally, Judge Winters set down the documents. Mrs. Franklin, do you have anything to say? Claire stood slowly. Your Honor, I was trying to protect myself. My husband was never home. He was always traveling. I felt abandoned. So you committed fraud? Judge Winters asked. You interfered with his business? You tried to manufacture evidence against him. I was desperate, Claire said, her voice breaking. You were calculated, Judge Winters replied, and the evidence supports that conclusion. She turned to Richard. Mr. Nolan, I'm finding in favor of Mr. Franklin on all contested issues. The marital home remains his sole property. The secret account and all funds therein are subject to equitable distribution, with 70% awarded to Mr. Franklin as compensation for Mrs. Franklin's deception. Mrs. Franklin is ordered to cease all interference with Mr. Franklin's business and to pay damages in the amount of $50,000 for tortious interference and emotional distress. Claire's face went white. Your Honor. Furthermore, Judge Winters continued, I'm referring this matter to the District Attorney's Office for potential criminal charges related to the IRS fraud and attempted witness tampering. Mrs. Franklin, you're fortunate Mr. Franklin hasn't already filed criminal complaints. She struck her gavel. We're adjourned. Claire collapsed into her chair. Richard leaned over, speaking quietly to her. She wasn't crying. She looked stunned, like someone who'd been hit by something she never saw coming. I stood and shook Angela's hand. Thank you. You did this, Angela said. You stayed calm. You documented everything. You fought smart. Hannah and Wesley met me outside the courtroom. Hannah hugged me. I'm proud of you, Dad. Wesley nodded. You handled that with more grace than she deserved. It's not about what she deserves, I said. It's about what's fair. 4 months after the court decision, I stood in the condo, my condo now, looking out of the Charlotte skyline. The space felt different without Claire's presence. Lighter somehow. Cleaner. The IRS audit had concluded 2 weeks ago. Robert had been right. My returns were spotless. The audit found nothing because there was nothing to find. The agent had even apologized for the inconvenience, admitting the anonymous tip had wasted everyone's time. Autotech Industries had signed the $12 million contract. James Pritchard had called personally to apologize for doubting me. We should have trusted you from the start, he'd said. The first payment had already hit my account. Wesley had found a new job. Not in Austin. He decided to relocate to Charlotte, at least temporarily. He was working for a tech startup downtown, rebuilding his reputation one project at a time. He'd moved into his own apartment last month, but we had dinner twice a week. Hannah had visited 3 times since the trial. She and Wesley were slowly repairing their relationship. It would take time, but they were trying. Claire had moved out immediately after the judgment. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she was living with her sister in Raleigh. Jerome had apparently disappeared after the trial, unwilling to be associated with the scandal. The district attorney had declined to file criminal charges, said it wasn't worth the resources, but the threat had been enough to ensure Claire stayed away from me and my business. The secret account had been divided according to the judge's order. I'd received $128,000. Claire kept the rest. It wasn't about the money. It was about the principle. One evening, I was cooking dinner when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello. Lloyd, it's Nicole. Nicole Grant. The woman Claire had paid to seduce me. What do you want? I asked. I wanted to apologize, she said. What I did was wrong. I was going through financial problems, and when your wife offered me money, I didn't think about the consequences. I just saw an easy solution. You tried to destroy my reputation, I said. I know, and I'm sorry. I lost my job after the trial. Word got out about what I did. I deserve that. She paused. I just wanted you to know that I regret it. For what that's worth. It's worth something, I said. Thank you for calling. After we hung up, I stood at the kitchen counter, thinking about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the fight, the evidence, the trial. It had been exhausting. It had been painful, but it had also been clarifying. I'd learned that calm wasn't the same as passive. That patience wasn't weakness. That standing your ground didn't require rage. It required resolve. Claire had thought she could move fast enough to outrun consequences. She thought confidence was the same as competence. She'd been wrong. A week later, I met with a real estate agent. Not to sell the condo. That was mine, legally and emotionally. But to look at investment properties. I had capital now. I had stability. I had the freedom to build something new. That evening, I had dinner with Hannah and Wesley. We sat at a restaurant downtown, talking about their lives, their futures, their hopes. Not about the divorce. Not about their mother. About what came next. You seem different, Dad, Hannah said. Lighter. I feel different, I said. Like I can breathe again. Wesley nodded. You stood up for yourself. A lot of people wouldn't have done that. I didn't have a choice, I said. Sometimes standing still is the same as falling backward. When I got home that night, I stood on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. The air was cool, fall settling into Charlotte. Somewhere out there, Claire was living with the consequences of her choices. Somewhere out there, Jerome had moved on to his next target. But here, in this space, I had clarity. I had peace. I had my children's respect and my own self-respect. That was worth more than any settlement, any property, any revenge. I'd fought for fairness, not victory. I pursued truth, not vindication. And in the end, that made all the difference. The fight had changed me, not into someone bitter or broken, but into someone who understood the value of standing firm when the ground shifted beneath you. And that understanding, that was something no one could take away.